Book of Sirach. Chapter 46. Yahusha the son of Nun was valiant in the wars, and was the successor of Moses in prophecies, who according to his name was made great for the saving of the elect of Elohim, and taking vengeance of the enemies that rose up against them, that he might set Yashar'al in their inheritance. How great splendor got he when he did lift up his hands, and stretched out his sword against the cities. Who before him so stood to it? For Yahuwah himself brought his enemies unto him. Did not the sun go back by his means? And was not one day as long as two? He called upon the Most High Yahuwah when the enemies pressed upon him on every side, and the great Yahuwah heard him. And with hailstones of mighty power he made the battle to fall violently upon the nations, and in the descent of Beth Horon he destroyed them that resisted, that the nations might know all their strength, because he fought in the sight of Yahuwah, and he followed the mighty one. In the time of Moses also he did a work of mercy, he and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, in that they withstood the congregation, and withheld the people from sin, and appeased the wicked murmuring. And of 600,000 people on foot they too were preserved, to bring them into the heritage, even unto the land that flows with milk and honey. Yahuwah gave strength also unto Caleb, which remained with him unto his old age, so that he entered upon the high places of the land, and his seed obtained it for an heritage. That all the children of Yashar'al might see that it is good to follow Yahuwah. And concerning the judges, everyone by name whose heart went not a whoring, nor departed from Yahuwah, let their memory be blessed. Let their bones flourish out of their place, and let the name of them that were honored be continued upon their children. Samuel, the prophet of Yahuwah, beloved of his sovereign, established a kingdom, and anointed princes over his people. By the law of Yahuwah he judged the congregation, and Yahuwah had respect unto Jacob. By his faithfulness he was found a true prophet, and by his word he was known to be faithful in vision. He called upon the mighty Yahuwah when his enemies pressed upon him on every side, when he offered the sucking lamb. And Yahuwah thundered from heaven, and with a great noise made his voice to be heard. And he destroyed the rulers of the Tyrians, and all the princes of the Philistines. And before his long sleep he made protestations in the sight of Yahuwah and his anointed, I have not taken any man's goods, so much as a shoe, and no man did accuse him. And after his death he prophesied, and showed the king his end, and lifted up his voice from the earth in prophecy, to blot out the wickedness of the people. Chapter 47. And after him rose up Nathan to prophesy in the time of David. As is the fat taken away from the peace offering, so was David chosen out of the children of Yashar'al. He played with lions as with kids, and with bears as with lambs. Slew he not a giant when he was yet but young? And did he not take away reproach from the people when he lifted up his hand with the stone in the sling, and beat down the boasting of Goliath? For he called upon the Most High Yahuwah. And he gave him strength in his right hand to slay that mighty warrior, and set up the horn of his people. So the people honored him with 10,000s, and praised him in the blessings of Yahuwah, in that he gave him a crown of splendor. For he destroyed the enemies on every side, and brought to naught the Philistines his adversaries, and brake their horn in sunder unto this day. In all his works he praised the set-apart one Most High with words of esteem. With his whole heart he sung songs, and loved him that made him. He set singers also before the altar, that by their voices they might make sweet melody, and daily sing praises in their songs. He beautified their feasts, and set in order the solemn times until the end, that they might praise his set-apart name, and that the temple might sound from morning. Yahuwah took away his sins and exalted his horn forever. He gave him a covenant of kings, and a throne of splendor in Yashar'al. After him rose up a wise son, and for his sake he dwelt at large. Solomon reigned in a peaceable time, and was honored, for Elohim made all quiet round about him, that he might build an house in his name, and prepare his sanctuary forever. How wise was you in your youth, and, as a flood, filled with understanding. Your soul covered the whole earth, and you filled it with dark parables. Your name went far unto the islands, and for your peace you was beloved. The countries marveled at you for your songs and proverbs and parables and interpretations. By the name of Yahuwah Elohim, which is called Yahuwah Elohim of Yashar'al, you did gather gold as tin, and did multiply silver as lead. You did bow your loins unto women, and by your body you was brought into subjection. You did stain your honor and pollute your seed, so that you brought wrath upon your children, and was grieved for your folly. So the kingdom was divided, and out of Ephraim ruled a rebellious kingdom. But Yahuwah will never leave off his mercy, neither shall any of his works perish, neither will he abolish the posterity of his elect, and the seed of him that loves him, he will not take away. Wherefore he gave a remnant unto Jacob, and out of him a root unto David. Thus rested Solomon with his fathers, and of his seed he left behind him Rehoboam, even the foolishness of the people, and one that had no understanding, who turned away the people through his counsel. There was also Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who caused Yashar'al to sin, and showed Ephraim the way of sin. And their sins were multiplied exceedingly, that they were driven out of the land. For they sought out all wickedness, till the vengeance came upon them. Chapter 48. Then stood up Elijah the prophet as fire, and his word burned like a lamp. He brought a sore famine upon them, and by his zeal he diminished their number. By the word of Yahuwah he shut up the heavens, and also 3 times brought down fire. O Elijah, how was you honored in your wondrous deeds? And who may esteem like unto you? Who did raise up a dead man from death, and his soul from the place of the dead, by the word of the Most High? Who brought kings to destruction, and honorable men from their bed? Who heard the rebuke of Yahuwah in Sinai, and in Horeb the judgment of vengeance? Who anointed kings to take revenge, and prophets to succeed after him? Who was taken up in a whirlwind of fire, and in a chariot of fiery horses? Who was ordained for reproofs in their times, to pacify the wrath of Yahuwah's judgment before it break forth into fury, and to turn the heart of the father unto the son, and to restore the tribes of Jacob? Blessed are they that saw you, and slept in love, for we shall surely live. Elijah it was, who was covered with a whirlwind, and Elisha was filled with his spirit. While he lived, he was not moved with the presence of any prince, neither could any bring him into subjection. No word could overcome him, and after his death his body prophesied. He did wonders in his life, and at his death were his works marvelous. For all this the people repented not, neither departed they from their sins, till they were spoiled and carried out of their land, and were scattered through all the earth. Yet there remained a small people, and a ruler in the house of David, of whom some did that which was pleasing to Elohim, and some multiplied sins. Hezekiah fortified his city, and brought in water into the midst thereof. He digged the hard rock with iron, and made wells for waters. In his time Sennacherib came up, and sent his commander, and lifted up his hand against Zion, and boasted proudly. Then trembled their hearts and hands, and they were in pain, as women in travail. But they called upon Yahuwah, which is merciful, and stretched out their hands toward him. And immediately the set-apart one heard them out of heaven, and delivered them through Isaiah. He smote the host of the Assyrians, and his Moloch destroyed them. For Hezekiah had done the thing that pleased Yahuwah, and was strong in the ways of David his father, as Isaiah the prophet, who was great and faithful in his vision, had commanded him. In Isaiah's time the sun went backward, and he lengthened the king's life. He saw by an excellent spirit what should come to pass at the last, and he comforted them that mourned in Zion. He showed what should come to pass forever, and secret things or ever they came. Chapter 49. The remembrance of Josiah is like the composition of the perfume that is made by the art of the apothecary. It is sweet as honey in all mouths, and as music at a banquet of wine. He behaved himself uprightly in the conversion of the people, and took away the abominations of iniquity. He directed his heart unto Yahuwah, and in the time of the unrighteous he established the worship of Elohim. All, except David and Hezekiah and Josiah, were defective, for they forsook the law of the Most High. Even the kings of Judah failed. Therefore he gave their power unto others, and their splendor to a strange nation. They burnt the chosen city of the sanctuary, and made the streets desolate, according to the prophecy of Jeremiah. For they entreated him evil, who nevertheless was a prophet, purified in his mother's womb, that he might root out, and afflict, and destroy, and that he might build up also, and plant. It was Ezekiel who saw the splendid vision, which was showed him upon the chariot of the cherubims. For he made mention of the enemies under the figure of the rain, and directed them that went right. And of the 12 prophets let the memorial be blessed, and let their bones flourish again out of their place, for they comforted Jacob, and delivered them by assured hope. How shall we magnify Zerubbabel? Even he was as a signet on the right hand. So was Yahushua the son of Jozadak, who in their time builded the house, and set up and set apart temple to Yahuwah, which was prepared for everlasting splendor. And among the elect was Nehemiah, whose renown is great, who raised up for us the walls that were fallen, and set up the gates and the bars, and raised up our ruins again. But upon the earth was no man created like Enoch, for he was taken from the earth. Neither was there a young man born like Joseph, a governor of his brethren, a stay of the people whose bones were regarded of Yahuwah. Shem and Seth were in great honor among men, and so was Adam above every living thing in creation. Chapter 50. Simon the high priest, the son of Onias, who in his life repaired the house again, and in his days fortified the temple. And by him was built from the foundation the double height, the high fortress of the wall about the temple. In his days the cistern to receive water, being in compass as the sea was covered with plates of brass. He took care of the temple that it should not fall, and fortified the city against besieging. How was he honored in the midst of the people, in his coming out of the sanctuary? He was as the morning star in the midst of a cloud, and as the moon at the full, as the sun shining upon the temple of the Most High, and as the rainbow giving light in the bright clouds, and as the flower of roses in the spring of the year, and as lilies by the rivers of waters, and as the branches of the frankincense tree in the time of summer, as fire and incense in the censer, and as a vessel of beaten gold set with all manner of precious stones, and as a fair olive tree budding forth fruit, and as a cypress tree which grows up to the clouds. When he put on the robe of honor, and was clothed with the perfection of splendor, when he went up to the set-apart altar, he made the garment of set-apartness honorable. When he took the portions out of the priest's hands, he himself stood by the hearth of the altar, compassed about as a young cedar in Lebanon, and as palm trees compassed they him round about. So were all the sons of Aaron in their splendor, and the oblations of Yahuwah in their hands before all the congregation of Yashar'al. And finishing the service at the altar that he might adorn the offering of the Most High Almighty, he stretched out his hand to the cup, and poured of the blood of the grape. He poured out at the foot of the altar a sweet-smelling savor unto the Most High King of all. Then shouted the sons of Aaron, and sounded the silver trumpets, and made a great noise to be heard for a remembrance before the Most High. Then all the people together hasted, and fell down to the earth upon their faces to worship their sovereign Almighty, the Most High. The singers also sang praises with their voices, with great variety of sounds was there made sweet melody. And the people besought Yahuwah, the Most High, by prayer before him that is merciful, till the solemnity of Yahuwah was ended, and they had finished his service. Then he went down, and lifted up his hands over the whole congregation of the children of Yashar'al, to give the blessing of Yahuwah with his lips, and to rejoice in his name. And they bowed themselves down to worship the second time, that they might receive a blessing from the Most High. Now therefore bless you the Elohim of all, which only does wondrous things everywhere, which exalts our days from the womb, and deals with us according to his mercy. He grant us joyfulness of heart, and that peace may be in our days in Yashar'al forever. That he would confirm his mercy with us, and deliver us at his time. There be two manner of nations which my heart detests, and the third is no nation. They that sit upon the mountain of Seir, and they that dwell among the Philistines, and that foolish people that dwell in Shechem. Yahushua the son of Sirach of Jerusalem have written in this book the instruction of understanding and knowledge, who out of his heart poured forth wisdom. Blessed is he that shall be exercised in these things, and he that lays them up in his heart shall become wise. For if he do them, he shall be strong to all things, for the light of Yahuwah leads him, who gives wisdom to the righteous. Blessed be the name of Yahuwah forever. So be it, so be it. Chapter 51. A prayer of Yahushua the son of Sirach. I will thank you, O Yahuwah and King, and praise you, O Elohim my Savior. I do give praise unto your name. For you are my defender and helper, and has preserved my body from destruction, and from the snare of the slanderous tongue, and from the lips that forge lies, and has been my helper against my adversaries. And have delivered me, according to the multitude of your mercies and greatness of your name, from the teeth of them that were ready to devour me, and out of the hands of such as sought after my life, and from the manifold afflictions which I had, from the choking of fire on every side, and from the midst of the fire which I kindled not, from the depth of the belly of Sheol, from an unclean tongue, and from lying words. By an accusation to the king from an unrighteous tongue my soul drew near even unto death, my life was near to the hell beneath. They compassed me on every side, and there was no man to help me. I looked for the assistance of men, but there was none. Then thought I upon your mercy, O Yahuwah, and upon your acts of old, how you delivered such as wait for you, and saves them out of the hands of the enemies. Then lifted I up my supplications from the earth, and prayed for deliverance from death. I called upon Yahuwah, the Father of my master, that he would not leave me in the days of my trouble, and in the time of the proud, when there was no help. I will praise your name continually, and will sing praises with thanksgiving, and so my prayer was heard. For you saved me from destruction, and delivered me from the evil time. Therefore will I give thanks and praise you and bless your name, O Yahuwah. When I was yet young, or ever I went abroad, I desired wisdom openly in my prayer. I prayed for her before the temple, and will seek her out even to the end. Even from the flower till the grape was ripe, have my heart delighted in her. My foot went the right way, from my youth up sought I after her. I bowed down my ear a little and received her, and I found for myself much instruction. I profited therein, therefore will I ascribe splendor unto him that gives me wisdom. For I purposed to do after her, and earnestly I followed that which is good, so shall I not be confounded. My soul have wrestled with her, and in my doings I was exact. I stretched forth my hands to the heavens above, and bewailed my ignorances of her. I directed my soul unto her, and I found her in pureness. I have had my heart joined with her from the beginning, therefore shall I not be forsaken. My heart was troubled in seeking her. Therefore have I gotten a good possession. Yahuwah have given me a tongue for my reward, and I will praise him therewith. Draw near unto me, you unlearned, and dwell in the house of learning. Wherefore are you slow, and what say you to these things, seeing your souls are very thirsty? I opened my mouth, and said, buy her for yourselves without money. Put your neck under the yoke, and let your soul receive instruction. She is hard at hand to find. Behold with your eyes, how that I have but little labor, and have gotten unto me much rest. Get learning with a great sum of money, and get much gold by her. Let your soul rejoice in his mercy, and be not ashamed of his praise. Work your work betimes, and in his time he will give you your reward. Blessed are they that submit themselves to the will of Yahuwah, and guard it with all of their heart. For they shall see his face with joy and not in sorrow. Hallelujah.